Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well, and welcome to the very first Whisper Quotes video on the channel. This is a new series I thought I would try out, in which I read all kinds of quotes from politicians to actors, musicians, sports people, and even quotes from movies, TV shows, and things of that nature. If it's a memorable quote, you're probably going to find it here at some point. So how this series will work is I will give a brief summary at the beginning of each video of what or who will feature, followed by the quotes themselves. It's a very basic format, but hopefully you guys will feel relaxed and even inspired by a lot of the quotes. Just before we get started, I want to thank you guys for your support, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so, as it really means a lot, and ultimately 1,000 subscribers is the main goal. So yeah, hit the subscribe button guys, and thank you again for your support. Okay, on to the main event, which means it's time to lay back, relax, and let yourself drift away as I whisper quotes by Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela lived from 1918 to 2013 and was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader and philanthropist who served as the first president of South Africa from 1994 until 1999. He was the country's first black head of state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic election. His government focused on dismantling the legacy of apartheid by tackling institutionalized racism and fostering racial reconciliation. Nelson Mandela had an impact on many lives throughout his life, and the following are some of his most famous and well-known quotes. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin, or his background, or his religion. People must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. There can be no greater gift than that of giving one's time and energy to help others without expecting anything in return. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Do not judge me by my success. Judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. It is in your hands to create a better world for all who live in it. Education is the great engine of personal development. It is through education that the daughter of a peasant can become a doctor, that the son of a mine worker can become the head of the mine, that a child of farm workers can become the president of a great nation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. Fools multiply when wise men are silent. We can neither heal nor build if, on the one hand, the rich in our society see the poor as hordes of irritants, or if, on the other hand, the poor sit back, expecting charity. All of us must take responsibility for the upliftment of our conditions, prepared to give our best to the benefit of all. We know what needs to be done. All that is missing is the will to do it. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural. It is man-made, and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. If you want the cooperation of humans around you, you must make them feel they are important, and you do that by being genuine and humble. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Sport can create hope where once there was only despair. It is more powerful than governments in breaking down racial barriers. As long as women are bound by poverty, and as long as they are looked down upon, human rights will lack substance. When we dehumanize and demonize our opponents, we abandon the possibility of peacefully resolving our differences and seek to justify violence against them. May your choices reflect your hopes, not your fears. In Africa, there is a concept known as Ubuntu, the profound sense that we are human only through the humanity of others. That if we are to accomplish anything in this world, it will in equal measure be due to the work and achievement of others. Thinking is one of the most important weapons in dealing with problems. My dream would be a multicultural society, one that is diverse and where every man, woman and child are treated equally. I dream of a world where all people of all races work together in harmony. One of the most difficult things is not to change society, but to change yourself. Freedom can never be taken for granted. Each generation must safeguard it and extend it. Your much so that you should have freedom without suffering what they did. Use this precious right to ensure that the darkness of the past never returns. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. You can start changing our world for the better daily, no matter how small the action. It is so easy to break down and destroy. The heroes are those who make peace and build. In some ways, I saw the garden as a metaphor for certain aspects of my life. A leader must also tend his garden. He too plants seeds and then watches, cultivates, and harvests the results. Like the gardener, a leader must take responsibility for what he cultivates. He must mind his work, try to repel enemies, preserve what can be preserved, and eliminate what cannot succeed. There is no future without forgiveness. Freedom alone is not enough without light to read at night, without time or access to water to irrigate your farm, without the ability to catch fish to feed your family. When a man is denied the right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. The curious beauty of African music is that it uplifts even as it tells a sad tale. You may be poor, you may have only a ramshackle house, you may have lost your job, but that song gives you hope. It is not our diversity which divides us. It is not our ethnicity or religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. Lead from the back and let others believe they are in front. No country can really develop unless its citizens are educated. Any nation that is progressive is led by people who have had the privilege of studying. Forgiveness liberates the soul. It removes fear. That is why it is such a powerful weapon. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom, just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. As long as poverty, injustice, and gross inequality persist in our world, none of us can truly rest. Remember to celebrate milestones as you prepare for the road ahead. A real leader uses every issue, no matter how serious and sensitive, to ensure that at the end of the debate, we should emerge stronger and more united than ever before. As I walked out the door toward the gate that would lead to my freedom, I knew if I didn't leave my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. Overcoming poverty is not a gesture of charity. It is an act of justice. As I have said, the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. Great peacemakers are all people of integrity, of honesty, but humility. No problem is so deep that it cannot be overcome, given the will of all parties, through discussion and negotiation, rather than force and violence. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart. The brave man is not the one who has no fears. He is the one who triumphs over his fears. You mustn't compromise your principles, but you mustn't humiliate the opposition. No one is more dangerous than one who is humiliated. I am the captain of my soul. A good leader can engage in a debate frankly and thoroughly, knowing that at the end he and the other side must be closer, and thus emerge stronger. You don't have that idea when you are arrogant, superficial, and uninformed. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. Part of building a new nation means building a spirit of tolerance, love, and respect amongst the people of this country. There is a universal respect and even admiration for those who are humble and simple by nature, and who have absolute confidence in all human beings, irrespective of their social status. The wounds that cannot be seen are more painful than those that can be treated by a doctor. One of these sad realities today is that very few people, especially young people, read books, unless we can find imaginative ways of addressing this reality. Future generations are in danger of losing their history. You will achieve more in this world through acts of mercy than you will through acts of retribution. It is better to basic human right and the fundamental foundation for the formation of democratic institutions. That was one of the things that worried me, to be raised to the position of a semi-god, because then you're no longer a human being. I wanted to be known as Mandela, a man with weaknesses, some of which are fundamental, and a man who is committed, but nevertheless sometimes he fails to live up to the expectations. And finally, I want to sleep for eternity with a broad smile on my face. I want those who remain behind to say this man has done his duty. And I think he did exactly that. He more than did his duty for himself and his country. Well guys, that is just about it for this whispered quotes video on Nelson Mandela. I hope you enjoyed the quotes and found them relaxing. And if you did enjoy the video, as always, be sure to hit the like button before you go. Consider subscribing if you're new around here, and I'll bring you plenty more quotes videos like this one in the very near future. Also, feel free to post some suggestions of figures you'd like to see the quotes video made for, and I will see what I can do. Thank you for joining me, and until next time, rest easy, sleep well, and I hope to see you again very soon for another video. And goodbye for now.